Welcome, everyone. I want to welcome you to the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture. Thank you all for coming out here on this great Monday morning. We want to just give you a few things here real quick. We have three great exhibits, and I wanted to make sure I point them out. One is a very historical exhibit for us because it is our first partnership with the Smithsonian Museum and with the Field Museum, and it's upstairs. And in here you have an exhibit that's the 100 Years of Tufino, one of our most famous artists. In the corner over there you have an exhibit on the bomba. And then this weekend we'll be opening up for Women's History Month. It's based on a comic book. It's called La Borinqueña, which is a Puerto Rican Afro-Boricua woman superhero. But let me welcome you all here again. We have such great people here today, and I want to make sure that I recognize some of them. We have Alderman Pat Dow, who I know from way before she became an alderman. Alderman. We have our Assistant Deputy Director of DCEO, Cameron Joyce. Thank you. We have also with us, I know her from U of I. This year, La Casa Colectiva Latina in U of I is celebrating its 50th year anniversary. She was there as part of the movement with us, and today she is your Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Stratton. And then we have probably the best group of elected officials that have ever represented this community. Let me start off with those. So let me start off with our alderperson, Jesse Fuentes. Representative Lillian Jimenez. Senator Natalie Toro. He got married here. Senator Omar Aquino. And our great Congresswoman, Delia Ramirez. And we have a commissioner, brand new commissioner with us here today too. Thank you, Sampson. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Sampson. There's a lot of ways and a lot of things that we could use to describe the governor. And he's accomplished so much. But Governor, I think the best way for me to address the love of our community with you is with a question. And that question is, when are you going to run for president? He's been a great friend to a lot of us, not just in our community, but to a lot of people. And Governor, before I bring you up, I want to hand this book to you. It's a book, it's the memoirs of Carly Munoz. Carly Munoz is Puerto Rican. He's a pianist, and he happens to be the pianist for the Beach Boys. And so I think you may enjoy this autographed copy of it. But our great friend, a person who I wish would, you don't have to answer the question, Governor. You don't have to answer that question. Governor Pritzker, please join us.
Thank you. Thank you. You're getting me in trouble even as we speak, but it's always good trouble with you. But thank you very much, Billy, and I really can't thank you enough for the leadership in the community, for the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture. And we love you. And I want to make sure everybody here knows what an amazing contribution that Billy has made to our city, to our state, to the country. And of course, I want to recognize my partner in governance, our great Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton. And you've heard all the names before, so I'm going to try not to repeat exactly. But our DCEO Assistant Director, Cameron Yost, has really taken on a bunch of new projects for us, very important to our administration. And she comes with a ton of experience at the federal level, understands what we need to get done at the state level with the federal and as well as the local city government here in the city of Chicago. Our great Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, Senator, yeah. I'm going to extend this as long as I can with all the applause, but I won't name everybody now. I just do want to say to everybody that's here, this community is so well represented. And when we talk about leadership, right, sending the quality of leadership that you send to represent you, that matters a lot. So all of us who want to think about it, where are we going to make the investments that are really going to count? Where we have the local leadership who can carry those investments to fruition? Right here is where you have that kind of leadership. So I just want to compliment everybody that's here that gets to vote for these folks. So thank you for the things that you do in that regard. I guess Jose Lopez was not recognized. Where are you, Jose? Oh, right there. Sorry, I missed you. Of course, you've got the lightest color outfit on. So thank you, because I really, your friendship, your creativity, you're like the godfather of the community from my perspective. So, and I mean that in the most positive way. Thank you for your leadership. Last September, my administration began accepting applications for state-designated cultural districts, communities, towns, and geographic areas that have a distinct shared historical and cultural identity that binds them together. This was an initiative within the legislature, the General Assembly. Once again, I want to compliment you on the people that you send to represent you, because I get to work with them really every day, and they're the ones who really made this project happen, and I compliment them on that. Well, today I couldn't be prouder to announce that Puerto Rico Town has been selected and officially designated as a 2023 state-designated cultural district. Naturally, Billy oversees everything, so overseen by the Puerto Rican Cultural Center, Puerto Rico Town is one of 10 state-designated cultural districts announced today that represent the rich diversity and history of our great state. Others, just to make sure that we're recognizing, we have representatives of, I think, almost all of those other districts. The sponsoring organizations of those districts, Sky Art NFP, Little Village Community Foundation, Rogers Park Alliance, Springfield Urban League, Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community, City of Chicago Bronzeville, and the Greater Chatham Initiative. I want to congratulate you on your selection. Founded in 1972, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center has been at the core of the creation of Paseo Boricua, the economic, political, and cultural capital of the Puerto Rican community in the Midwest. From organizing relief efforts after Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and providing families with a bicultural, bilingual daycare, to publishing a community newspaper and leading housing and entrepreneurship initiatives, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center serves as a hub of opportunity for Puerto Rican communities here in Illinois and beyond. Over the past 50 years, its programs and affiliates have graduated thousands of residents and trained dozens of adolescent peers. And lest we forget the Puerto Rican Cultural Center's event offerings, the Midwest's largest Latino musical festival, community parades, a holiday parranda, a winter festival, strengthening the unique cultural identity of Puerto Rican communities, promoting economic development, and expanding equity and access. The Puerto Rican Cultural Center does it all. So this designation couldn't be more well-deserved for Puerto Rico town. As one of our state designated cultural districts, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center will have the opportunity to apply for funding now to promote greater growth, development, and opportunities throughout Puerto Rico town. And I have no doubt under Jose's extraordinary leadership, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center will put these dollars to good use as Puerto Rico town continues to flourish over the coming years. I'm really excited to see the kind of buildup of tourism that will come from these cultural districts, the buildup of opportunity for people who live in the districts, and the knowledge that people will gain from understanding the community just by knowing that it's Puerto Rico town here, by knowing all of the other cultural designated districts. It will make a difference in the life of Chicago because we are one Chicago, we are one Illinois. So with that, it's my great pleasure to turn it over to our DCEO Assistant Director, Cameron Yost.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for the introduction. My name is Cameron Yost, and I am the Assistant Director at the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO. I'm honored to be here today in Chicago's beautiful Humboldt Park neighborhood to celebrate the newly designated Puerto Rico town, as well as 9 other communities that are being designated as cultural districts. The State Designated Cultural Districts program was created to uplift and celebrate neighborhoods across the state while bolstering economic development and preserving historical and unique cultural identities of these communities. Illinois is committed to expanding our state's economic development opportunities through an equitable lens. Illinois' diversity is our biggest strength, and it is the glue that binds us together and an essential part of our state's rich cultural fabric. Puerto Rico town and each of our state-designated cultural districts are exceptionally deserving for their rich histories and cultures, and each district stands as a shining example of all the great things our state has to offer. And now I'd like to ask the governor to join me as we honor our designees who are in attendance today. So up first, we have the Puerto Rican Cultural Center, Jose Lopez. Come on over here. You're going to go over there on the other side of the governor.
Right in the middle here, will you?
There you go. Congratulations.
Here, this is for you.
Oh, okay.
Up next, Sky Art NFP. Congratulations. Congratulations. Right over here.
Thank you.
Little Village Community Foundation. Hi. Congratulations.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Springfield Urban League.
Yay.
Woohoo! Congratulations, Marcus. Thank you. The Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community. Hi, Grace. Congratulations. Right over here. Congratulations.
Thank you, well done.
The City of Chicago Department of Planning, Bronzeville. Hi, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
The Greater Chatham Initiative. Hi. Congratulations. Right over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
and Devport North Rogers Park Alliance. Hi, Sandy. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all in attendance today. Thank you. So, congratulations again to all of our designees, and thank you for your dedication and commitment to uplifting Illinois communities. And with that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
So I guess I should ask, how you feel in Puerto Rico town? Hello, everyone. I am Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, she, her pronouns, and what an absolutely beautiful day to gather in this beautiful space. Thank you, Cameron, for that warm introduction. And of course, thank you, Governor Pritzker, for honoring Illinois' diversity in your leadership. And congratulations to all of today's designees. In the interest of time, I will echo the governor's thanks to everyone joining us today. What comes to mind when I tell you to envision your culture? Maybe a certain food, piece of music, language, or flag. And now think about what you feel when you see that flag pinned on someone's backpack on the bus, or smell that food in a restaurant, or hear that song playing in a store. Think about the rush of excitement, comfort, and recognition. That sense of belonging coupled with a burst of pride, that is what we are protecting through the state-designated cultural districts. So many amazing communities with such rich histories and culture, including my very own community of Bronzeville. Yeah. Southside is in the house, right? And I do invite everyone to come experience beautiful Bronzeville, where we believe that Black history is not only celebrated in February, but all year round. These cultural districts are important because families that were once new to Illinois have rooted, passing traditions and values down through the generations. When they found other families like their own, pockets of community developed to create the blended state that we now call home. But when those pockets are threatened, or worse, wholly erased under the footprint of gentrification, we dampen Illinois' collective vibrancy. We have to be intentional about preserving unique cultures, or else we risk losing them entirely. Today, we are celebrating in Puerto Rico town because the Puerto Rican community is an asset to the health and success of Illinois. And through this designation, we are ensuring Puerto Rican children will always have access to their heritage. When they go into the world and make friends who maybe don't look like them or have the same experiences, they can say, hey, come to my neighborhood and see what makes me who I am. Come, share a piece of my home. And with today's announcement, we are making sure that all of our children have spaces to learn from and engage cultures outside of their own. Thank you so much for having us. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to a powerful advocate in Washington, D.C. for her district and for all of Illinois, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez.
Let me start by saying to you, did you know that often Illinois, especially under the leadership of our one and only Governor J.B. Pritzker, we've become the first in the nation in many, many circumstances? When we passed the state-designated cultural districts legislation, we became the very first state in the nation who landmarked through state designation communities across the state to preserve culture, history, legacy, and to be able to say that in the state of Illinois, we don't just talk about diversity, we promote it and we create state designated districts to make it in record for the entire state. I am so incredibly grateful to be here with you. It is a glorious day. Number of people worked really hard and have been talking about what do you do to fight gentrification in communities like Humboldt Park, Logan Square, Bronzeville, and so many places. How do you celebrate community and not become silo that is only for a particular community, but that when you come to Chicago, you also come to Boricua Town, Puerto Rico Town. I think we're changing the name here, so trying to be politically correct to whatever the name is today. How do we make that happen? And I gotta tell you folks, my time in the state legislature is one of my proudest moments, because in the state of Illinois, we get things done. I am grateful that with the leadership of then Senator Cristina Pacioni Zayas in the Senate, and I, your adopted Puerto Rican friend here, Guatemalan, but you know, all my nieces and nephews are Puerto Rican, all 5 of them, that we were able to work so hard to make sure that this bill became a reality, signed into law. And here's what we know, that while Puerto Rico Town has a state designation, it will have an impact in Springfield. It will have an impact in Champaign. It will have an impact in Bronzeville, in Little Village, in so many parts of this state where we know that the history, the legacy, the culture, or when you're driving down Division Street and you pass by Café Colao, because you got to go to Café Colao if you're on Division Street, or La Sandwichera if you want to go there too, or Nelly's, of course, you got to stop there for your coconut oatmeal. That in the summer when you're driving through and you hear salsa and you hear a little bit of plena, and then, you know, we have some of our Guatemalan and Mexican friends who also live here. Thank you for letting us live with you as well. And we have a little banda and cumbia going too. That those Puerto Rican flags remind us that we are a state of welcoming each other, not negating each other's culture. This state designation, coupled with the resources that are coming from it, will allow these communities across the state of Illinois to be able to continue to further their economic development, to be able to invite people, you know, through conventions in August or wherever, to come to Puerto Rico Town or come to Chinatown or come to all over the city of Chicago. This richness of culture, of flavor, of music, of what makes Illinois and Chicago the best city in the entire country. And I want to thank all of you for what you do in preserving that culture and legacy. Because I dare to believe that Division Street can be a community that is thriving, that is building affordable quality housing, that has businesses that are thriving, and instead of just going to the clubs downtown Chicago, those are nice, you can also come to Puerto Rico Town as well on a Friday night, and that you can come and celebrate the museum, the arts, the culture, all that this community here, as so many we're celebrating today, have to offer. This state designation, as I wrap up, does a very important thing. It allows us not to just celebrate it, but to preserve it in this state right here, right now. So help me give a big round of applause to all of the people, Senator Aquino, Alderwoman Jessie Fuentes, before she was an alderwoman, testifying, showing up to Springfield. And Governor Pritzker and Lieutenant Stratton, who take vision and implement that vision. So help me introduce to you the man who will always give you more work. A man who will tell you, thank you, let's do the next thing. And trust me, now at the federal level, he has a lot of things I need to do. But help me introduce our friend, el padrino, the godfather of Puerto Rico Town, Jose Lopez.
This is indeed an amazing day for me, but it's a very humbling day for me. I want to say we birthed this about 7 years ago, this idea. Governor Pritzker, was not governor then, and he convened us in Pilsen and wanted to hear from us what is it that we wanted. And we brought this idea to him. And this man, this amazing leader, did everything possible. I don't know how many meetings we had with him. He would be adding new dimensions to our request. I've never engaged any elected official that has done what this amazing leader has done. And it is that culture can become an enterprise. And it must be what drives us. There's a wonderful quote in the Quran which states, "We have made you different so you can know each other." In other words, our very humanity is premised on this incredible difference that we have up here, that we have in this room, that we have in the city, in the state, and in the United States. This designation, Governor, is the counter narrative to the politics of hate and division. And we know that brighter days await us, because for me, I want to tell this governor that he has my full support. And by the way, I may not be able to impact a lot of votes nationally, but there are some places that I can, that if he chooses to run for president, he will have our full support. Because this is the kind of leader that this country needs. The leadership that speaks to a nation that is built on differences. And there is nothing that makes us better than to be different. That is how you are in your family. All of you are different. And you honor your brothers and sisters. This creation of this district is what solidarity really looks like. Because we birthed this here, and now 15 different communities throughout the state of Illinois will benefit from this. So for me, this is indeed an amazing, humbling moment for me and for this community. So thank you so much, Governor. I couldn't be more prouder of you than this day. Okay, thank you. And then I guess my person that I have to introduce is an amazing young leader who grew up in this community. His father grew up in this community. He was raised right here. He continues to live here. He was married here. And Senator Aquino.
There's a lot of excitement here today, and there should be, because the state designated cultural districts, what does that signify? That signifies that our state is proud of diversity. It's proud of equity. It's proud of inclusion. It's proud of all those communities that don't make history separately, that is part of and woven into the fabric of the history of the state of Illinois. Yes. We're so proud that we are going to put resources towards that, so that not only our neighbors get to learn about the differences in different communities, but our children, and it goes into the future. That we are not priced out of that. That we get to celebrate from Springfield to Humboldt Park to Brownsville and others in Rogers Park, all the differences that we have that make up this great city, this great state, in our nation. It was alluded that I grew up in this community. It's hard not to think back about the folks that left this little island called the La Isla de Encanto. Who leaves an island of enchantment, right? It's people that are looking for opportunities, come to sometimes a little cold place of the city of Chicago. And my family made this place home back in the late 1960s. I now am a father of two, and I talk about my children very much because I'm very proud of them. But to know that we have state dollars to make sure that my kids get to learn about what it is to be Puerto Rican right here at home. They get to learn about all the contributions of Chinatown, of Bronzeville, of Springfield, of all these different communities that they get to also call their own. What I would do is I want to invite everyone. We just spoke about, and I know the governor's going to take a lot of questions on this, and it really should be focused on what we're here for. But we talked about a presidential candidacy. We are hosting something in the DNC in a few months, not too far away from this community. And what I would do is invite folks that are coming for that. Go into the communities. Go visit Bronzeville. Go visit Chatham. Come visit Humboldt Park. We have a place right here on Division Street at Mercadito del Pueblo that you can buy your souvenirs there. Get your coffee at Café Colao. Get your avena at Nelly's. Go see Roberto Clemente High School. My mother was the first graduating class of that. A high school named after an amazing baseball player, however, a better human being. Sacrificed his life through a humanitarian mission. Those are the stories that need to be shared. Come to this amazing museum. You might fall in love like I did. Not only did I get married here, I met my wife here. So either if you're seeking love of someone else or seeking love and appreciation of cultures and diversity, when you think of the city of Illinois, the city of Chicago rather, and the state of Illinois, think of how we celebrate each other and learn and teach each other of those differences, because that's what makes up how great of a state this is, with amazing leaders that I have behind us. And one of those amazing leaders is she championed this as well and has continued on, and she is my partner in the State House, and that is Representative Lillian Jimenez.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Senator. I am so honored to be here. I am the newest state representative for the 4th District, and we're in the 4th District right now, so welcome. And I am so honored to be here because the people who came before me, who are sometimes younger than me, like Senator, worked so hard, as well as former Senator Cristina Pasiones Ayes, worked so hard to make this a reality, as well as my Congresswoman, who was my predecessor, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. Thank you so much. Who worked so hard to make this a reality. And so I am just honored to be here, and I want to tell you a little bit about what it means to me. So somebody who owns a home here and is raising a child in this community, it means the world to me that we are going to designate this community, and not only on Division Street, but expand it. That is what is important to me, because not everybody lives on Division Street. I don't live on Division Street, but I do come to Division Street, to Paseo Boricua. And I am lucky to be able to bring my son to the Puerto Rican parade, to the festivals, to the restaurants you all heard about. And not only that, but he was also educated at the Puerto Rican Culture Center daycare, where he received bilingual, bicultural education. And that is really important to me, that as we make our way in this world, this diverse world, where we learn about so many people and so many cultures, that we also are able to look inside of ourselves and develop that sense of pride. And sometimes with young people, I believe, as from growing up in an impoverished neighborhood, I believe that sometimes that is what is very traumatizing and hurtful to children, where they do not understand their education and what their communities have brought and contributed to this beautiful world and this beautiful tapestry that we have that is Illinois. And so that is what is so important to me. And when I think about Senator Aquino's little 2-year-olds, my 5-year-old, about all the children in this community, that they deserve to understand what their contributions of their community has been and what they can continue to contribute to this great state. And not only that, but that they can stay here, that they feel welcome. Because let's face it, we are facing displacement. We do see gentrification. I do talk to neighbors who tell me that they can't afford to live in this community anymore. And we have to stop that. We need to make interventions. And that is what this program is doing. We are making an intervention. We're going to continue to make interventions at the state level because our governor believes in us and believes that our community deserves to stay. And so that is why I'm so proud that he is championing this program across the state of Illinois, because we have the right to stay here. Our small communities, the investment that we talked about, it does not need to go to big corporations. This investment needs to go to our community. That is why I'm so proud this museum hosts those artist markets, that we have those small business incubators, that we are talking about cooperative models of building homes, of building businesses, because we need each other. We need each other, and we need to acknowledge that the state has a role. The state has a role in those interventions and in providing assistance to community members so that we have the ability to stay in our community. So with that, I wanted to just thank so much also my West Side Commissioner, Tara Stamps, for being here. I hope we can work together to try to provide this program across the West Side and look to see where are the pockets of opportunity. And so thank you so much for letting me speak a little bit about what it means to me and how special I think this program is. And I want to introduce my alderperson who has been working on this program from when it was a little idea, right, a little spark, before she was an alderperson. And I am so proud to be able to say that my alderperson, Jessie Fuentes, is here with you today to share some thoughts.
What a day. What a day. First, Governor J.B. Pritzker, Lieutenant Governor Stratton, I want to thank you for your leadership and for allowing government to finally intervene in what has been decades of displacement and historical disinvestment in many communities. And so your ability to lead and intervene and finally say the buck stops here today is a big day for every community across the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. And so thank you for your leadership. There's a few folks I want to acknowledge before I get into some remarks. I want to acknowledge Chairwoman Alderwoman Pat Dow for her leadership in City Council, for showing us what Black excellence looks in our city, and for being a woman that models what it means to govern in such important moments. You are someone that I look up to every time we go to City Council to legislate, and I am lucky to be your colleague. So thank you for being here. I want to acknowledge our newest commissioner, Tara Stamps, who is the commissioner of the museum, Humboldt Park, and Division Street. She is our commissioner. Her solidarity, her understanding of what it means to preserve our communities, to ensure that we are no longer being gentrified, that solidarity between Latino and Black communities is what's going to move our city forward. And so, sister, it's a blessing to have you at the county. Thank you for being here. And I want to acknowledge our original authors. I know it's been alluded to, but it's been a long way coming, and it's because we had legislators who believed in an idea that came out of the Puerto Rican agenda, and that is former state senator, now deputy chief of staff to the mayor, Cristina Pacioni-Zayas. Then state rep, now my congresswoman, Delia Ramirez. And my brother in the struggle, the other Boricua that loves country music, our state senator, Omar Aquino. And I want to acknowledge the leadership of the Puerto Rican agenda because they are here in this room, and it's where this legislation was birthed out of. We have co-chair Natasha Brown and co-chair Rafael Caro, who now lead the Puerto Rican agenda here with us today. Look, over 8 years ago, this community had a housing summit. You see, because gentrification is real. My grandmother migrated here in the 1950s because Puerto Rico was being gentrified. Our beaches are being privatized and sold to the highest bidder. Our houses devastated by natural disasters, and not a government that's building it back for us, but for the interest of our major corporations. So you have Puerto Ricans leaving an island that we love so much to come to a diaspora to only experience the same vicious system that seeks to displace us and not allow us to bear roots in a place that we call home. My grandmother migrated here and moved to Lakeview. And then she got pushed further west, and every single time she thought she could raise her family somewhere, the rent went too up, property taxes went up, and she could not lay the roots that were required to raise generations in a community. When I first was inaugurated into office, a lot of my first 2 to 3 weeks were having conversations with Boricua families from all over the city saying, older person, I want to move back home. I want to be able to afford to raise my children in a place I was born. I want them to be proud to walk down Division Street. I want us to build institutions and communities for one another. This state-designated cultural district is going to allow for us to invite those families back. Humboldt Park, I've lived on every single side of the park, by the way. I lived on every single side of the park because gentrification is real, and when you get displaced, you just move around. And I've resisted my whole life from leaving this community. This designation pays homage and honors communities of resistance across the city and across the state. This is what organizing does. This is how we win. Our ability to designate a commercial corridor that is for our people, that will be built by our people, whether you are in Chatham, whether you are in Bronzeville, whether you are in Puerto Rico town. We have the right to generational wealth. We have the right to thriving communities. We have the right to affordable housing. And we have the right to safety. Having those things shouldn't mean the eradication of our people in a place. And so I am grateful for what it means to be in community with folks that dare to dream. Dare to dream to build a community that can be theirs for decades. You see, the largest Puerto Rican steel flags in the world are welcoming markers to everybody into a Puerto Rican community in which you can experience Puerto Rico on a beautiful strip like Paseo Boricua. You see, we've built an amazing state and an amazing city in which you can quite literally experience the world in a city. And so I am proud to be the alderperson of the 26th Ward, and we're gonna take this state-designated district, and we are going to bring and pair city and county resources to be able to invest in all of our communities the way they should have been invested a long time ago. And so here's to Puerto Rico town. Here's to every state-designated district across the state. Here's to our ability to preserve, protect families, and to resist, and to be a community that not only preserves our history, but takes this moment to build history for the future generations in the city of Chicago. Thank you all for being with us today.